Okay, we are back live here, coast to coast, border to border on iHeartRadio today. We have got two great guests coming up here in the broadcast. We've got David W. Mantic, who's going to be with us here in just a few moments. Before him, we are going to chat with Steve Goreham here. And we love Steve. I'm so glad that we have got him back on the big broadcast. Steve, before we get the ball rolling, of course, how do people find you online and get involved with everything that you're doing?
Yeah, they can find me in this, particularly my books at Steve Goreham, GOREHAM.com. If they go and order a book, I'll send them a signed copy. And my books are also on Amazon as well, and ebooks available as well.
Fantastic. Now, of course, Steve Goreham is with us today. He's the executive director of the Client Science Coalition of America. He's also the author of 4 amazing books, by the way, on energy, climate change, sustainable development, with over 100,000 copies in print, which is amazing. Steve's latest book is Green Breakdown, The Coming Renewable Energy Failure. And of course, last month, Green Breakdown again reached #1 in Amazon's energy policy category. So let's talk a little bit about this book. Tell me a little bit about why you decided to write this book, first off.
Well, I've been speaking to groups and been a professional speaker for about 10 years, written 4 books on climate and energy. And what I discovered a few years ago is that we're about to have a renewable energy failure. We had all the major nations of the world, United States, Europe, and Canada, Australia, New Zealand, trying to push to get to net zero by 2050, which basically means get rid of coal, oil, and gas and use wind, solar, and biofuels. But that is breaking down. It's just an impossible task. And we're seeing it all over now. We see political parties stepping back from it. We see many other issues. So the world is going to get back to sensible energy policy, and that's what Green Breakdown is about.
We have got a great guest with us today. Steve Goreham joins us live here on our big broadcast. And of course, he is the author of Green Breakdown, The Coming Renewable Energy Failure. So what's been the feedback you've gotten on the book so far, Steve?
Well, it's been mixed. A lot of people like it, a lot of people don't. I actually use this picture. The head of the climate and meteorology department at San Jose University received a copy from somebody, and so they actually put a match under it, and they took an image like they were going to burn my book. Well, this was a previous book. This is The Madman Mad World of Climatism, I should say. But
let's go spend the money and burn the book. Great idea.
I don't think they actually burned it, but about 20 articles were written on the internet, and they took it down from their website after about a few hours. But it's energy has become very political, climate very political, and so you have people on one side saying the Earth is about to be destroyed, and on the other saying that it's very foolish. That which is the side I'm on, that nature drives climate, not human emissions.
You're damn right on that, my friend. We have got Steve Goreham with us today. He joins us live. He is the author of Green Breakdown, The Coming Renewable Energy Failure. So what do you want readers to take away from your writing of this incredible book, my friend?
Well, again, the book goes through electrical power plants, home appliances, electric vehicles, heavy industry, heavy transportation, talks about how net zero is going to fail. It is interesting. We still, after the world has spent about $10 trillion in the last 20 years, we still have 87% of the world's energy that comes from coal, oil, and gas. Renewables and nuclear and other things are 13% or less. It's very, very small. So this is just not something that's going to happen. People need to use sensible ideas, talk about real pollution, which we need to eliminate. And that's things like particulates and ozone and lead, but not carbon dioxide. Shouldn't be called a pollutant. And we need to use sensible policy. We need to use power plants that can run all the time, not the ones that are intermittent. People should have choice for electric vehicles or regular regular gasoline cars and not be forced into buying one or the other based on the superstition that we can stop the oceans from rising if we all buy electric cars.
Yeah. It is Steve Goreham. He has got Green Breakdown. He is a best-selling author. How does this book compare to some of the other books you've written in the past, my friend?
Well, the first two are on climate mostly, climatism, and then the mad world of climatism. Then I wrote Outside the Green Box, Rethinking Sustainable Development, which talked about the four horsemen of the environmental apocalypse, which are overpopulation, global pollution, resource depletion, and climate destruction. And the environmental groups warn us of all those four. But if you look at all the information about those, you find that things are actually trending in a positive manner as society moves along and we get wealthier. And then the last one is Green Breakdown, of course.
We have got a great guest with us today. He joins us live here on our big broadcast. Steve Goreham is with us. He is the author of Green Breakdown, The Coming Renewable Energy Failure. He is also the executive director of the Climate Science Coalition of America, and he joins us today here on our big program. And you're joining us this week here on iHeartRadio, and of course, Twitch it on the Twitch over there as well, and 50 plus AM FM stations across the country and around the world. SteveGoreham.com for more information. So, Steve, talk to me a little bit about where you see this book going. What are you hoping that this book accomplishes?
Well, let me talk about some of the trends that are going on.
Go ahead.
I want to talk about the artificial intelligence revolution, which many people have heard something about. Back in 2022, ChatGPT came out as a first chatbot. They produced their first AI chatbot and showed that machines can learn the complexities of human language, and they ushered in the artificial intelligence revolution. Now today we have all the big guys, Microsoft and Google and Meta and Amazon, that are building data centers all over the country to try and run artificial intelligence. At the start of 2024, we had 2,700 data centers in the US, and now we have over 4,000 in less than 2 years later. And they need all this power to run these AI routines, and they can do all sorts of things like make videos and images and all sorts of different things that people are now using. But this is really stalling the transition to renewable energy because there's just not enough power. And you can't run these data centers on wind and solar. They need to run 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And so what's happening now is we are restarting nuclear power plants all over the country, particularly in Iowa, Michigan, Pennsylvania, and also some in South Carolina. They're running coal plants much past their closure dates. Tennessee, Utah, West Virginia, they can't close them. They need the power. And we also have more than 200 gas-fired power plants that are in planning and under design. More than 100 of those are in Texas right now. So, I recently spoke to a state of Illinois Senate committee, and I said to them, what you do with solar here in Illinois isn't going to make any difference because we need all this power, and we're building all these plants all over the country, nuclear and gas, to get more and more power. So it's really a big change in our energy policy, and it's going to get people back to sensible energy.
It is a great guest with us today. Steve Goreham is with us. He joins us live here on our big broadcast. So you use science, economics, and in-depth analysis to support your claims, which of these three disciplines offers the most compelling evidence against the feasibility of some of this all renewable energy system?
Well, yeah, it's there's a bunch of things. For example, one of the big problems that most people don't know about with wind and solar is that they use vast amounts of energy. A guy by the name of Vaclav Smil, a scientist in Canada, who I talk about in my book, has written a whole book on the area footprint that these energy sources use. And he covered everything. He covered pipelines, and he included waste pits and mines, and he finds that natural gas and nuclear and coal are about the same, but wind and solar to put out the same unit of energy, wind and solar use 100 times the land of traditional power plants. And so it's just not very feasible. Not only that, when you scatter these wind and solar systems on ridges and out through farmland and everywhere else, you have to build transmission to all these things. And of course, nobody wants to see all those towers being built next to them. So it just really doesn't make sense. There's a lot of issues with renewables, despite the fact that the Biden administration and others were trying to make them the power of our nation. But now again, the AI revolution is just shooting all that down. We have all these power plants that are being built everywhere. I'll give you another example. Meta is building the Hyperion system, they call it, in Louisiana, and they claim it's going to be the biggest data center in the Western Hemisphere. By the way, I should say right now, did you know that there's more money being spent on data center construction right now than office construction in the United States? That's how big these things are. It's just huge. Anyway, this Hyperion system in Louisiana, the utility is building 3 gas-fired power plants to run it. And when this gets done in about 5 years, it's going to use twice as much electricity as the city of New Orleans, this one facility. So these numbers are just huge. And, right or wrong, good or bad, we're in the age of AI, and that's what's kind of overtaking the power in the U.S.
Absolutely amazing. We have got a great guest with us today. He joins us live here on our broadcast. Steve Goreham is with us. He has got an amazing, amazing book here. So, Steve, this book, Green Breakdown, The Coming Renewable Energy Failure, what do you think this is going to do, for the general public as they get more educated on renewable energy and things like that?
Well, we see some signs already that a number of key people are turning away from net zero and climatism, the ideology of man-made warming. Just about 3 weeks ago, Bill Gates, who's one of the richest men in the world, and who has been supporting the climatism ideology for many years now. Matter of fact, he wrote a book in 2021 called How to Avoid a Climate Disaster. He came out and said basically, well, maybe this isn't such a big problem. He sent a note off to the UN climate conference in Brazil, and he also put one up on his website. And by the way, his foundations have spent billions of dollars trying to reduce emissions and supporting groups that are fighting man-made warming. But in this latest memo he put out, here's a couple quotes from him. Quote, "Climate change is a serious problem, but it will not be the end of civilization." Then he also said, quote, "Unfortunately, the doomsday outlook is causing much of the climate community to focus too much on near-term emissions goals." And then he concluded, our chief goal should be to prevent suffering, particularly for those in the toughest conditions who live in the world's poorest countries. So this is really, really a big change from Mr. Gates. And he's been criticized by the climatists, if you will, and also the realists, the folks that don't believe in the theory of man-made climate change, have said, well, it's great you've come over to our side. It's about time. But really a big shift. Another thing that's occurring is that 5 major political parties across the world now are rejecting the idea of net zero, that we have to get rid of all the coal, oil, and gas fuel. These, of course, are the Republicans in the United States under Mr. Trump. But also in Europe, we have the Reform UK party under Nigel Farage. They've coined the phrase net stupid zero. And so they think this net zero is crazy. We also have the Alternative for Deutschland party. And by the way, Reform UK is polling the highest in the UK now. When they have a government election, they're probably going to take over much of the government. But in Germany, the Alternative for Deutschland, the head of it, Alice Weidel, has said, quote, "Down with all these windmills of shame." She wants to get rid of all the wind turbines in Germany, and that they have the highest density of wind turbines in the world in Germany. And then just within the last month, two parties in Australia, the Nationals and the Liberal Party, have both said, well, we don't want to do net zero anymore, just too expensive. David Littleproud, who's head of the Nationals Party, has said, quote, "We believe in reducing emissions, but not at any cost." So these are really significant shifts, and they're part of what I was thinking was going to take place in Green Breakdown.
We've got Steve Goreham with us today. Steve, before we let you go, how do we get the book, and what's next for you as an author, my friend?
Well, what's next, I'm not sure yet. You really need a good concept to write about. But in the meantime, they can go to my website, Steve Goreham, GOREHAM.com, and get signed copies of Green Breakdown, also of The Madman Mad World of Climatism. By the way, The Madman Mad World is great for high school or college age kids, your cousins, your grandkids, whatever, who are getting a very one-sided view on climate and energy in school. But my last three books all are color paperbacks, and they have, in addition to the science and economics, they have a bunch of sidebars, which are real crazy headlines about climate and energy. And here's one of those, quote, "Britons advised to stop showering to conserve energy." And they actually were talking about having people urging people to shower with a friend, which sounds like fun, but these are just goofy things, in part because people want to go to this net zero and they don't want to use any energy, and instead of building more power plants like they should be doing.
Well, you are amazing, my friend. Thanks for making some time for us today, and we will talk to you soon. Thank you, Steve.
Thank you, sir.
Appreciate it, my friend. There he goes. That